here's how to make an engraving toolpath in NX. So on our part here, you can see we already have our predefined text here that says sample that we're going to be engraving. You might already have your engraving on your model from the customer, or you might have to create it. To create your text, simply go up to Curve and click Text. From there, follow the prompts and add in your text wherever you need to. To create this toolpath, we'll go ahead to Create Operation, and we're going to go to Mill Contour. Here, we're going to slide over to Curve Drive, or the Curve Point named toolpath, and we're going to select our Harvey engraving tool. Say OK. Now your toolpath dialog box is open for Curve Point. In this toolpath, it's very, very basic when it's set to the Curve Point drive method. It's simply going to just drive curves or points with your tool. Nothing special at all. So what we're going to do is go to our Curve Point, make sure we're on Curve Point method, click this wrench here, and then it's going to ask you to select the curve in the dialog box that appeared. We'll drop down this list to make it look a little bit easier, and then simply we can chain our letters. You'll want to make sure each letter is its own independent drive set. So I'll click the S, and then we're going to go ahead and click the A. Now you can see that the sideline here in the A did not select. I will go ahead and make that its own drive set as well. So click that, finish chaining all of our letters here. And then here on this E, notice I'm kind of zooming in to click the left side of this line so that it cuts from left to right, since there will already be a groove right here from the previous drive set 7. Now that that's chained, we can say OK. We'll go to our tool axis, and we will specify a vector. Will come inferred from this side right here. And then we will jump up to our specify cut area. We want to make sure we are cutting on this face right here. Say OK. Then we can generate this toolpath. And you'll see that it simply just drove those lines that we chained. The reason for the multiple drive sets here is if you did not have that, it would connect one letter to another, and then you'd get a line engraved connecting each letter to each letter, which would result in a gouge in your part. When we do engraving, we want to make sure that our engage and retract are set properly so that we're leading in and out of the lettering correctly. We don't want any excess overlap or extending on our letters. As you can see, these are arced entries and exits. That's not going to be any good for our engraving. So what we want to do is go into our non-cutting moves. We can expand this menu out, click on engage, and we'll change our engage type from arc to be plunge. I'm going to go ahead and set this to be 100,000ths of an inch, and then I'm going to make sure against the part is the same as my open area right here. As well, we'll drop down initial and make sure that it is also the same as open area. Then we'll go to our retract, and we can have this set same as engage, or we can simply change this to a lift. We'll go ahead and make that lift and make our retract, looking at our open area retract here, that is set to lift. I'll make our lift 100,000ths of an inch like the engage, and then we are going to be good to go. I'll regenerate this again. Now you can see that it's simply straight up and down lines dropping into your lettering to cut. It's going to be much cleaner of a toolpath, and it's going to definitely make your letters look nicer. You now have an engraving toolpath here, but notice that all we did was cut the letters that were directly on that face. So you'd essentially be cutting your letters to 0 or to net on that face. To push it into the face a little bit so that you can actually see the engraving, we're going to go ahead and simply just drop the part stock. So here we can just say -10,000ths of an inch, And we can say OK. And when we generate this, it's going to ask us that the negative part stock might not be reliable. We do not want to stop this. We want it to be OK. And now you can see that that light blue line isn't visible because it's actually 10 thousandths below the surface. And when we verify this in replay, we can drop our cutter down. You can see that now the tip is inside of the lettering, resulting in a 10 thousandths deep engraving.